So I found that the best way to keep track of which stove I have and how many holes, how many jets I may have in it, or the diameter of the jets, is to just engrave it on the stove. And I kind of make like a little case, like you'd make a tin can stove, just so that I don't damage it or lose the parts when it's in storage. I kind of just label the bottom of the stove with the information I need. And another useful piece of information is to write down what pot you have it set up for. That after you make 20 or 30 of these, or a couple of hundred, you kind of lose track of which ones are which. So I engraved the date, name of the stove, how many jets, and which pot I normally would use this with. And this is kind of the same way you make a pop stove can, but they make great storage containers. They're really lightweight, and you get some built-in redundancy because you can build another quick stove out of it if you need. Just another little tidbit: when you do make these storage containers, and you may have to crimp the edges to get them to seal quickly. You don't want to be fiddling with this in cold weather, but you may have to put a pilot hole in the top of the can. It's such a tight seal that it's going to create a vacuum. You're going to have a hard time getting it off. The pilot hole gets sealed by the bottom of the can, so you don't have to worry about dirt, water getting in. You're going to get some, like I said, built-in redundancy. You could poke a few holes in this and make another stove if you needed to. Oh yeah, once again, another useful item for like storing your alcohol stoves, of course, the almighty Pringle can. All your older stoves you're not using, some other prototypes, great way to store them. You don't have to worry about damaging them in your cupboard or storage area where you're gonna keep all your alcohol stoves. Another useful container for the backpacker. Alright, so cutting these bad boys open. Here's another thing: if you actually have a small alcohol stove system, you're gonna be able to put the whole thing in one of these little containers that you're making. So you can get, for example, you get your windscreen in there. All right, so you got your windscreen. You can make yourself a candle tin stove. So kind of just took the candle tin, rolled up some carbon fiber and some hardware cloth that you've crimped on one end. You crimp it so that you get a tight seal here, but you can invert it and store it in there. So of course that's going to boil 2 cups of water on a hiney pot in around, oh god, I think it was 11 minutes or so. And of course the whole thing goes back together. Invert it the other way. Fold up the windscreen. Wrap it around your stove. Throw it into your storage container, and finish cutting out the top and put it right on top. This is a V8 juice can and a San Pellegrino lemon water can. Works great. Peace. Okay, so while we're on the point of containers for backpacking and alcohol stoves, this little container is pretty cool. This is a hummus container. There was hummus on one side and crackers in the other. Just a really unique container. Snaps in pretty tightly. Kind of a nice storage place for alcohol stoves. Sort of like the Winter Cat. I mean, that's a pretty big alcohol stove, and it fits in this container. I'm sure you can adapt it to some other containers like Tinny does with his cook system. But good size for storage, or even for carrying some of your alcohol stoves. The other thing I noticed, I was using my Vargo wood stove here, and if you're using a Snow Peak 700, you're probably going to have some issues because it barely fits on top. So if you were to just use some aviation snips and cut out a larger bean can, make yourself a little ring for the top, you'll be able to use your Snow Peak 700 on there, or other smaller cooking pots, solo pots. I noticed that some of the silicone bottle insulation, they're used on water bottles, and I mean, they're clearancing them out at REI for a couple of bucks. You can get these and put them on your hiney pot so that you won't even have to use any of the Kevlar thread or wicking material to be able to pick it up. Notice that it lends itself pretty well also to, like, here's a Snow Peak 700. I've got the lip protector on it, but I added some of this just to give it a whirl. It kind of holds it in place, and it's easier to grab that cup when you've got it, when it's pretty hot. I even put one on my Jetboil Soul cup on the bottom just so that I don't lose heat from my hot beverages that quickly. So just a couple of ideas. You can probably use this for a million things in backpacking, and this container is really cool. Got to check it out. Peace.